Good morning, everybody. Don't stand so far away. I'm here with my very good friend, State Senator Majority Leader Bob Duff, and also Mike Wertheimer, who leads our Consumer Protection section, and Becky Quinn, who's leading this effort here today. We're announcing this morning that the state of Connecticut is going to sue Altice and Optimum Online for charging millions of dollars to Connecticut customers in the form of hidden junk fees, and to hold the company accountable for bearing disclosures regarding limits to their advertised internet speeds, as well as issuing ads in Spanish that contained English-only disclaimers. So they did ads in Spanish, and then part of the ads, the legally required parts of the ads, were in English, which frankly is egregious and outrageous, and speaks to why we're here today. These violations are on their face, wrong, egregious, and outrageous, and that's why we're forced to sue Altice and Optimum today. Let me also say at the outset that I say this not just as the Attorney General, but as a customer, and I'm guessing a victim here, like so many of us are who are Altice customers, who have no choice, by the way, but to be Altice customers because they're a monopoly in Fairfield County, and I think up to parts of New Haven County, and a major international cable and telecommunications conglomerate. So let me detail what happened with these junk fees. This lawsuit follows an investigation we opened back in November of 2022, triggered by more than 500 consumer complaints. Let me just say there aren't a lot of companies for whom we get 500 complaints, but Altice is one of them, which is not going to surprise Bob because he hears them as well in his office, and he's one of them. And these 500 consumer complaints go back to 2017 over hidden fees, junk fees, poor technical support, and slow speeds. Our complaint today alleges 3 violations of the Connecticut Unfair Trade Practices Act. First, this junk fee was called the Network Enhancement Fee, whatever the heck that means. In 2019, Altice tucked in a charge at that time of $2.50 on every customer's bill, including us. Okay, month after month, we got charged $2.50, and that increased over time to now $6 per month. And they didn't tell anybody. So you go online, and I moved actually in 2020, right before the pandemic, and I remember signing up again, because when you move, you sign up again for a new address for cable, internet, and phone, and I got the triple play or whatever it is, and nobody told me about a network enhancement fee. It wasn't disclosed anywhere. You just go on what the advertised price is, and it seemed competitive. And so I went, even though I didn't really have any choice, I signed up again, and I started unknowingly paying this network enhancement fee. Since then, Altice, Optimum, has collected tens of millions of dollars from Connecticut customers and residents over and above the monthly internet service charge. Again, this fee is not disclosed up front. It only shows up on your bills or in the shopping cart after the fact. Altice claims the fee is necessary to maintain and improve the network. They're supposed to do that anyway. They're supposed to do that anyway. It's a basic business function, and we all have a right under the law not to be nickel and dime like this, and not to have fees foisted upon us that aren't disclosed, that earn the company millions upon millions of dollars. Next, the hidden disclosures. This is also egregious. So they have ads in print and on television where they say that the internet speeds that they're advertising, whatever the speed is, and who of us understands how to interpret those numbers, megabits per second or gigabytes per second? Who knows, right? But it feels like the bigger the number, the better it is. But what they also do is they provide disclaimers that are grayed out or hardly legible. You can't see them, that say, but your speeds might be limited. So you might not be getting what we're telling you we're selling you. Finally, this really egregious situation where they have Spanish language ads. By the way, we have a PSA out right now, a public service announcement, that I did a part of the radio spot in Spanish. And so they do their radio and television, they do their radio in Spanish, and there are required disclaimers. And if you're doing it in Spanish, you should keep the disclaimers in Spanish. They're required by law, and they do them in English so that Spanish language speakers don't understand them. That's obviously egregious and ridiculous. And what we want is, number one, we want Altice and Optimum to stop charging these fees, and number two, to pay the money back. And it's tens of millions of dollars. Final thing I'll say is, we've been here a number of times talking about antitrust cases that we've brought against Google, and Senator Duff was with me when we announced our antitrust action against Apple. And at that time, I talked about monopoly rents, right? When we live under the thumb of a monopoly, they charge us rent, R-E-N-T, monopoly rents, because they dominate the market and, control us as the sole source, the sole option. And so in antitrust law, we call those monopoly rents. We pay monopoly rents because they have such dominant and monopoly control. These are monopoly rents. This is exactly what I'm talking about. $2.50, it grows over time to $6 every single month, tens of millions of dollars. Those are monopoly rents. That's why we're forced to pay them. They're wrong, and they've got to pay the money back. And so with that, let me turn it over to State Senator Bob Duff. Thank you.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. And I want to thank my good friend, the Attorney General, for bringing this issue to light and always protecting consumers across the state of Connecticut. This is a huge issue for people in Fairfield County and Litchfield County who have Altice and subscribe to Altice and Optimum, because they really don't have any other choice, as the Attorney General said. Frankly, Altice, which is a French company, uses Fairfield County and Litchfield County and all their customers as the ATM machine to send money back to their foreign company. We are getting nothing in return for all these fees that we pay, and frankly, they need to stop. And the Attorney General has been very, very aggressive about that. In fact, we worked this past session to eliminate junk fees and to outlaw junk fees, which is something that we passed in the state Senate, working very closely with his office and the governor's office as well. We hope next session we'll get it through the House. But these are things that industry fought tooth and nail against, and they lobbied very, very hard against it. But if you ask any consumer, especially in our area, there should be a roar of cheer right now in Fairfield County, knowing that the Attorney General is taking this action right now because of the fact of what Altice does to their customers in our area, to the subscribers. So I happen to bring a bill, my bill, that I had that came last month, and I'll just show you directly what it says. And I'm assuming the Attorney General gets the same bill I get with the same fees on it, so this is for both of us. But it says in here, we pay a $12 fee every month for a modem, because we probably have the triple play too. So we've been renting that for I don't know how many years, the same one. We pay a $6 network enhancement fee. Again, not really sure what the heck that thing is. So we have $18 just on the internet that we're paying for. We pay $13 each for our cable boxes and remotes that have been the same cable boxes and remotes for I don't know how long, so I'm not sure why we're still paying that. And we have other taxes and fees that are not really documented out. So you think about, multiply that against every customer that is out there, and that's a lot of money for consumers that they're paying that they have no choice but to pay because there's no competition. And for the fact that I remember asking Altice many years ago, because as the Attorney General said, this goes back a long ways, talking to their government relations folks and saying that they are putting this in their yearly packet of information that says we're increasing these fees. It's not the bottom line fee, like the rates, but it's increasing these network enhancement fees, these rental fees, all the other things that most people don't know about unless you read the fine print. So this action today is extremely important to our consumers. It's extremely important that the Attorney General is taking this on. The Attorney General, as was said before, when it comes to Apple or Google or grocery store prices, he is out there each and every day working to protect the consumer, working to represent them at every single turn on all these issues that have come up because of the fact that corporations many times are not really fighting for their consumers, they're just fighting for their bottom line. They may say that they want to help their consumers, but we see here in like bills like this that that's really not the case. That they're actually out there really just trying to enhance their bottom line at the expense of consumers. And so the Attorney General has my sincere gratitude for not only his work this session on Senate Bill 3, but his work day in and day out for the people of the state of Connecticut and for consumers all across the state who don't have a voice, don't know where to turn, and expect their government to help at times where they feel by all these fees and all these extra charges. So thank you. Attorney General Tong.
Let me just add before I take questions, looking at Senator Duff's bill, it's not a small amount, by the way, and that's important to note too. This is really hitting people and families every single day. But you might hear from industry, sometimes we hear from our friends in the utilities, those are mandated charges, those are state and local charges, there are various things the legislature requires them to charge. Not so here. That argument does not hold any water in this circumstance. It doesn't hold water there. But this network enhancement fee is not a tax. It's not a federally or state mandated fee. It's not some climate related thing. It's just an extra charge that Altice is slipping in on the bill to take money from all of us. That's all it is. Straight up. Questions? Good? Easy crowd today. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.